Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel where I bring you the latest in entertainment news, gist and updates. So guys, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you two countries where divorce is absolutely illegal. Now, these are the only two countries in the world where you can't even get divorced. Now guys, we know that research has shown that statistically almost half of all marriages will end in a divorce for reasons ranging from infidelity to domestic violence and irreconcilable differences. Now, these are marriages that can no longer be salvaged, okay? However, if you're in any of these two countries, no matter your reason, you cannot get divorced. Now, when a couple finds they've gotten to a point where the marriage is no longer working or salvageable, they opt to go for they opt to go their separate ways, okay? Now, this option is not open to everyone though. Now, while in most countries can get divorced easily on some grounds, even as flimsy as the fact that you no longer are attracted to this person, these two countries, if you try it at all, you it's actually termed illegal. Now, the very first country on this list is the Philippines. People who get married in the Philippines can't get divorced, guys, even if they feel the marriage is not working, okay? Which is why you're actually advised to more like look before you leap if you are a Filipino. Now, it's actually illegal to get divorced in the Philippines, which means when you decide to walk down the aisle with anyone, you know it's a lifelong event, a lifelong affair. So I think the Philippines will now take a more different approach to selecting their partners. Now, guys, the Philippine government is not autocratic. Okay, now while you can't actually go and say you want to get divorced, if you're in the Philippines, there are actually some instances where divorce is allowed. Now let me make it a little bit clearer. The Philippines is completely against divorce, okay? And 80% of the time, if you go and say you want to get divorced, the answer you're going to get is a stark no. However, there are a few instances where a couple can be granted divorce. Now, the very first is if the couple are Muslims, okay? Now, Muslims in the Philippines are exempted from this strict law and they can seek a divorce anytime they want. Now, guys, the second permissible option given is that of an annulment. So, while you cannot actually go for a divorce, you can actually seek to have the marriage annulled. Now, in this case, you don't seek to get divorced, but you opt to have the marriage annulled, okay? And this would mean that the marriage never took place. However, you can't just wake up today and say, oh, okay, I no longer want this person, so let's get this marriage annulled. Okay? There are only very few instances where the court will actually grant your request. Now, for this to work, you actually have to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that the marriage was never valid to start with. Now, there are also a few reasons given that will be accepted for a marriage not being valid. The very first is the fact that you have to prove that one or both parties were underage. So, let's say one of the parties was probably like 15 or 17, and then it is believed that he or she is not constitutionally mature enough to make that deep a decision, and on that ground the marriage can then be annulled. Now, on the second reason given is that of mistaken identity. So if somebody actually pretends to be who they are not, then you can actually seek to have the marriage annulled. And then the third reason is fraud. So guys, bar these three reasons, a marriage cannot be annulled in the Philippines, okay? If you're in the Philippines. Now, the third reason given also is when you're married to a foreigner. So the foreigner can file for a divorce, okay, if that's, let's say, a foreigner, probably like someone from the US or from France or from wherever, gets married to a Filipino. Then you can fight. You can actually file for an annulment and the marriage will get dissolved. Now, guys, it gets really strict, okay? Now, if you are a Filipino, two Filipinos, even outside the shores of the Philippines, get divorced. Probably a couple gets divorced in the US and they go back to Philippines. They relocate back to Philippines. The Philippine government does not recognize that divorce, which means they will still be regarded as married. Okay, now this issue is that serious, and this could actually pose a problem later on. Now, guys, excuse me. Why you can't actually file for a divorce? You can actually file for a separation. Okay, and in this case, you both get to live separately. Now, beyond this, you live separately, and you could also split your property two ways. Now, guys, the second place where a divorce is also not allowed is the Vatican City. Now, the Vatican City is actually a city-state within Italy, so it's not actually a country of its own. It's actually a city-state within Italy as a country. Now, Vatican City is a Catholic-run city-state governed by the Pope. Now, this city is actually quite small. Okay, it's regarded as a country quite alright, but it's more like the smallest country in the world, covering a space of 100 acres with a population of just 842 all Catholic residents. Now, majority of those who live here are actually priests and the Pope's staff. Okay, now like in the Philippines, can't really get divorced here, but you can also seek for an annulment. Now, guys, there are speculations that putting this rule of non-divorce in the Vatican City is actually more like an ideology, because most of the people here are priests and the Pope and more like his staff. Very few of his staff who really do not get married. So talking about divorce here really doesn't fit in. Now, guys, even for annulment is really not also a cheap process in either of these places, okay, in the Philippines or in the Vatican City, and it could cost you as much as $10,000 to get your annulment completed, which is what actually holds a lot of people back. So while most of the rich and wealthy can afford this, it remains a dream to a lot of poor people, or let's say middle class people. So you see a lot of people actually struggling in their marriages, but they really do not have the option to get it annulled, because while it is actually costly, if your reasons do not fall into one of the 3 or 4 reasons given, then it likely won't be honored by the Pope. So that is just goes to show a lot why marriage should actually be taken a lot more seriously. Okay. So guys, that's all for today. All you need to know about the 2 countries in the world where getting a divorce is absolutely illegal, and where it is not just illegal, but it is not allowed. Now, guys, I share information like this regularly, information about countries, or about your favorite celebrities, your favorite style, someone you would like to get to know more about. Now, if you would like to get to know more about such things, if you would like to get more of such information, consider subscribing, guys, by clicking that red subscribe button at the bottom of this video. Turn on your notification icon so you don't miss any of our videos dropping regularly. Guys, like this video, share it, drop a comment letting me know which of your favorite celebrity you would like to get to know more about, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our juicy updates. Stay tuned. Bye.